So something a bit different today. I was just editing and a reminder popped up on my calendar. Did you forget the fog? And I put it in 4 years ago. And the fog references a quote that I've mentioned in other videos about how you can't judge the past accurately because you can never see the fog, which was to them the blind future. I had just made a video stuck on a boat on the first days of the lockdown in the UK. I want to reshare that video now. I think it might be interesting and I want to know what you think. So without further ado, I present to you a video I made 4 years ago called The Path and the Fog. Enjoy. It's the beginning of April 2020. And all we can do is stay at home. Down on the canal, in the field next to my boat, there's a tractor. Clearly see the man in the cabin, working hard, preparing his crops. And I'm stood, making 20-second drawings of him. One of us feels starkly more relevant than the other.
The government is being pressed for more details on how it will carry out 100,000 coronavirus tests a day by the end of April. We'll hear from the health secretary.
There's a quote going around from the Czech author Milan Kundera. Man proceeds in the fog. But when he looks back to judge people of the past, he sees no fog on their path. From his present, which was their faraway future, it looks perfectly clear. Good visibility all the way. Looking back, he sees the path, he sees the people proceeding, he sees their mistakes, but not the fog. It's easy to feel unmotivated and stuck. It's hard when your profession seems so silly in these times. I'm no doctor, no nurse, no legislator. I don't have a patent for ventilators up my sleeve. To try and get with the programme, I was listening to a very science and politics heavy podcast when I was surprised to hear the hosts come to the defence of enduring art. They describe how its societal role is to preserve an understanding of catastrophe so that not everyone has to experience it directly. The scenario here is just so new that the stories protecting us from it haven't been written yet, and how it's not just through narrative, it's through visual art in paintings, like the Guernica, so that we are able to understand some other piece of humanity that we have not ourselves lived through. That is what art is and why we need it. So, I am drawing my kettle. I always remember how David Hockney once talked about a man called Vincent.
If you took Van Gogh and put him into the dreariest kind of American motel room, I suspect at the end of a week he'd still come out with interesting paintings. The hole in the carpet he'd paint, wouldn't he? He could, somehow everything becomes interesting because he's looking at it.
Everyone's world is a lot smaller. Everything is slower now, and already I feel like I'm living through paintings by artists who knew these feelings better. In the less vivid early paintings of Van Gogh, learning the simple delight in taking a moment in the sun, like Fortuny's Old Man in Granada. There is a kind of beauty in the everyday humdrum, and it takes stopping and looking to really understand. My circle of influence is small. I'm not allowed on the empty streets to draw or film them, but I can draw my kettle. I can think, and I can write, and I can make this video. will be a time when I look back on this day, the 4th of April 2020, and marvel how clear the path was. And I guess it's my small way of documenting the fog.